Been wanting to learn about different careers? Or just need that nudge to pursue your passion projects? Here at Project Offbeat Careers Podcast, we talk to guests with unique careers outside the usual corporate shtick. Listen to historians, gamers, teachers, and cosplayers. See how they've succeeded and how you can apply their learnings to your workplace. Catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And get ready to take the off-beaten path with us.
If you like this episode, please rate the podcast 5 stars 6 and take it home. This podcast is a member of Bun Collective.
Welcome to your unfiltered Tagalog Wrestling Podcast. And this is the MTV Show Podcast, a wrestling podcast. Okay, welcome back to the show. Let's go to NXT now. So, let's start with NXT. So, that episode was Tyro Tuesday, and there are a bunch of segments here on the show. Number one is the NXT Championship match between Braun Breaker and Von Wagner. Yeah, I can say Von Wagner improved in terms in the ring. Of course, nag-improve siya ng matindi when it comes to in-ring assets. Sobrang laki ng improvement na yun for him. And sa totoo lang, hindi natin mapagkakaila yung improvements na yun ni Von Wagner on his wrestling. However, Von Wagner was defeated by Braun Breaker to retain his championship in a fantastic 15-20 minute match without a commercial breaks. So yeah, that was a really good match to start the show. The main event, however, is the last woman standing match between Mandy Rose and Alba Fire. Ayun, so that was fun. Okay. So I love the fact na Mandy Rose is here on this point of time na from jabbering to someone to eventually she winning the championship, and that was so good in the side of WWE. And her saved by the debuting Isla Dawn in the end of this match, reminding us of the NXT UK roots. So that was so good too, in my opinion. And at least, wala na si Alba Fire on the equation. And parang mag-invalidate na lang itong si Kaylee o si Alba Fire. And sa totoo lang, feeling ko, palapit na rin siya sa main roster call. No? Main roster na rin siya. I hope lang na yung main roster call na yon was not a Alba Fire gimmick na. Sana main roster call siya under na ng Kaylee Ray something. Drop this fire bullshit. Sa totoo lang, may identity na si Kaylee eh. Hindi niya na kailangan ng Alba Fire gimmick para lang doon. Hindi niya na kailangan ng Alba Fire just para lang magka-gimmick eh. Medyo naboboringan din ako when it comes to her gimmick as that Alba Fire. But regardless, yeah, that was great. Okay. So, third People, sa totoo lang, I'm fucking laughing when Zoe Stark made her explanation on why she cast or she attacked Nikita Lyons from last week's title match. And basically, she said that there's my NXT. That is my new NXT. Yeah, I said that on purpose. And that was stupid. And to add, so we start at the fucking cut a promo, especially a heel promo, na supposedly dapat kokontra ka sa fans. Parang pilit na pilit ka mag-cut ng promo eh. Okay, hindi ako magaling na wrestler. Okay, I'm not a wrestler. But that fucking promo was cringe as fuck. Ito, magpakatotoo na tayo. That promo was cringe as hell. Hindi ko akalain na I'm going to say this in my life. I thought I said to anti-think ng Kayfabe Cafe on their Discord na this is going to be the savior of of her career, of Zoe Stark's career in WWE. And it turns out, it's the opposite. Totoo lang, mas okay siya na babyface eh. Mas okay talaga si Zoe as a babyface. Pero, I'm not going to conclude on that yet. Sinasabi ko lang, yung promo niya ngayon, that was so cringe. That was so sucked. That sucked. Sa totoo lang, that promo fucking sucked. And all of you guys na magpo-proof against it, hindi ko kayo masisisi. And you don't have fucking standards on it. Moving on. So we have this JD McDonough and Apollo Cruz match. Yeah, that was great in my opinion. And ayun, so nagtuloy-tuloy yung streak. And it looks like on NXT Deadline, we're getting Braun Breaker versus Apollo Cruz for the championship. And yeah, that was great for me. That was I hope lang na there's a perfect wrestler na magiging champion in the name of Apollo Cruz. Apollo Cruz was a fantastic wrestler. And he is a perfect wrestler in my opinion. Okay. On this portion, finally, we're going to talk about the Shawn Michaels announcement. So, it was announced, diba, na walang War Games ang NXT. So, here's the replacement of it. Shawn Michaels announced that they're going to have the Iron Survivor Challenge for NXT Deadline. It's gonna be 2 matches, one for the men and one for the women. The match has a time limit of 25 minutes and magkakaroon sila ng 5 participants per match. Two men or women will start the match first. Every 5 minutes, a new participant will enter the match. The process will repeat until all of the other 3 participants are entered the match. The objective of this match is to have the most falls within the time limit. If you pinned, submitted, or disqualified, you will earn. If you pinned, submitted, or disqualified somebody, you will earn 1 point per fall. If you lose the fall, if you're the falling decision on it, you will go into a penalty box for 90 seconds. Once you go out of the penalty box, magre-reset yung score mo. And yun, the process will repeat until the 25-minute time limit elapsed. The person gets the most falls within the time limit wins the match and will go to become the number one contender for the NXT or NXT Women's Championship. Yeah, that was a Survivor Series type of inspiration, yeah. And that was smart. Hindi naman. Medyo okay yun. So, they basically mixed Royal Rumble, King of the Mountain for the Bucks, the time limit doon sa Royal Rumble, at time countdown sorts, yung Scrabbles, kung tandaan nyo yung Unforgiven on its shuffle days, yung mga pawala na yung pay-per-view event na yon, then eventually, yun nga, Scrabble. Scrabble yung pinakaan dito. If you want a homework about this match before the deadline event, definitely you should watch the deadline. And of course, kailangan nyo panoorin yung mga events nila na may Scrabble matches on Unforgiven. So that's gonna be your assignments. It's gonna be your assignments for now. And yun na yun. So that's NXT deadline announcements for the main event or possibly the two NXT title headliners. So yeah, let's go to Dynamite before we go to our full gear review and some thoughts pa about Tyrus. Yung kay sino pa ba ito? Nakalimutan ko yung notes ko. So, kay Stone Cold, sige, pag-usapan din natin. Tsaka kay Sasha Banks, kay Mercedes. Let's start with the BBs. Sorry about that. So, let's start with the BCC and JAS. For fuck's sake, we're tired of this, man. We are fucking tired with this paper bullshit. Okay. I'm tired to see these tables going at it. I'm fucking tired of this. I hope lang na we are getting the outcome of this. I hope the full gear will be the end of this. Everyone is tired of this. Tagal na to 6, 7 months na to, 8 months. And everyone is fucking tired of this, man. Like, for fuck's sake. I am tired of this shit. Seriously. Then, so we got a music video and we got Captain Simano back on TV. So nice to see him back. Paul White, of course. So yeah, so nice to see him back on AEW TV at least. So Samoa Joe explained his heel turn on Wardlow last week, and it makes me disappointed about it kasi like pwede naman na hindi siya makasali sa picture eh. It's kind of disappointing, but mamaya pag-usapan natin on the predictions episode. We're going to talk about full gear Preds. No? So, continue tayo. So, that triangle versus top light. Top light, yeah, tama. I said it correctly. Ayun, so that was a pretty dope match so far. Candidate ko to for match of the week. And I can say that was a really, really good match. Welcome back. And also, this is the first appearance of AR Fox. And that was impressive debut for him on Dynamite. So, per Dynamite exclusive video, so si AR Fox was asked to sign a AEW contract. We don't know yet if he signed the contract binigay sa kanya. We don't know yet if he signed the contract. Basta malalaman natin yon in the next few weeks. Then, after of the match, by the way, that triangle is kinda addressed the crowd and may lumabas na video that unveils that the elite will face that triangle for the trios title at Full Gear this Sunday. We're going to do a predictions on it later on our third half. Then, pag-usapan natin yun. Then we got a back and forth promos of Saraya and Britt Baker. It's kind of noticeable na Britt is kind of facey here. And Saraya is basically a outsider who acts like a asshole in the ring. Finally, the main event, John Moxley versus MJF. Man, I cannot wait for Sunday for this particular match. Regardless on what we're going to watch, this is gonna be good for sure. And John Moxley and MJF in one ring, I could say that was, and I cannot wait the magic that these two guys will give us in full gear this Sunday. Okay, regardless, mamaya pag-usapan natin yung mga speculations ko or mga predictions ko for full gear. Also, let's add some stuff. So, Tyrus won the NWA World Championship over the champion or then champion si Trevor Murdoch and Matt Cardona in a triple threat for the NWA title at Hard Times 3. So, people are shouting why this punk got the NWA title. And according to our researches and research, that NWA is looking for viewership, no? So Styros, as far as I know, he is appearing on a Fox News program and he's working for Fox News. So bringing the NWA title, it's kind of smart for them. Them. Pero on my own opinion, Tyros doesn't suit the NWA branding. And Tyros is not my champion. I'm going to say that right now. Tyros is not my champion. And it doesn't suit the NWA championship. Then let's continue. It's gonna be a Stardom event as well on the 20th of November. Going to discuss that more on next week's episode of the podcast. We're not going to discuss it here. And of course, Disney Plus, discuss ko na to a few days back. Wala naman ako idadagdag masyado. So if you want to subscribe on Disney Plus, I hope y'all are subscribing to Disney Plus. Sana kayo mag-subscribe na kayo. Imagine more WWE on Disney Plus. Available now on your favorite platforms as soon as you can. As low as $159 a month for mobile and $369 for premium. Ayun, so wala pang announcement. Ulitin natin for War Games. Ulitin natin yun lagi dito sa segment na to. And ayun, so wala pa din tayong updates kaugnay ng NXT or Survivor Series War Games. And everything that I said on the platform or podcast yesterday was true. And wala na, hindi ko na kailangan elaborate yun. Masyado nang hahaba to. Pag elaborate ko pa yun sa inyo. Okay, so that's our second half. On the third half, we're going to discuss the predictions for Full Gear plus our final segments of the week and the pick of the week from last week. Okay, so we're going to take another commercial break. Let's check our bunkmates here on Bunk Collective.
Hey everyone, this is Mo Twister, and you're listening to the Kingdom Podcast with the voice DJ Yuki.
That was the OG, Mo Twister, promoting this podcast. If you like Korean pop culture, or know someone who does, then get into it, and visit our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram pages at the Kingdom Pod PH.
We're proud to tell you that this is one of the premier shows to go to for your weekly dose of K-pop. So drop everything and listen to the Kingdom Podcast. Available in all your podcast streaming platforms.
Join us!
Picture this. Two guys talking about true crime,
weird mysteries,
horror stories,
but the conversation is light
and mostly funny.
And sometimes naughty.
This is Scriptsalog,
a Spotify exclusive.
I'm Gideon.
And I'm Glenn, and we're serving huge portions of horror and true crime twice a week.
We'll make sure your cravings are satisfied.
And you'll be begging for more.
Char.
Check us out.
This is Scriptsalog, available exclusively on Spotify.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Let's do the predictions for AEW Full Gear. Full Gear will take place on Sunday, November 20 on Fight TV, on BR Live, Military Report, some cinemas in the United States, theaters, some pay-per-view providers here in the Philippines. We are airing on Premier Sports and on Tap Go TV, also on Tap Go. Now, India is airing on Eurosport and Eurosport HD. Let's start with our expectations for the pay-per-view this Sunday. I don't really expect the card is kinda up and down for me. I don't really expect a great event, pero the Mox D MJF is a must watch for everyone who is looking forward to watch this premium live event this Sunday on the WWE or this WWE, or you can watch the pay-per-view on Fight or Premier Sports here in the Philippines. So let's start the predictions. First is Brian Cage versus the winner of the Lance Archer versus Ricky Starks match on Rampage Full Gear. So regardless naman on winning o sino yung mananalo dito, I think it's gonna be Ricky Starks because Ricky Starks, I think it's time for him to be at least a challenger for the World Championship. And this match, by the way, is a buy-in or zero-hour match for Full Gear. So, my pick naman for the Full Gear match, I think it's gonna be Ricky Starks. Kasi you know, the history between Brian Cage and Ricky Starks during Team Taz is kind of personal for them. And I think this is gonna be good for Starks and Cage on their match. Ito, I think this is gonna be a grunge match for them as well for Full Gear, Zero Hour, o kaya buy-in. Let's start with the suck matches. Number one is Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal versus Sting and Darby. Like, who wants this shit? I don't like this shit. I don't want this shit. Like, seriously, if the purpose of this match is just a Jeff Jarrett TV pay-per-view appearance, I don't get the point and the sense of it. Just pull this shit out of TV, man. Seryoso, I'm going to abstain on this spread kasi it's so ridiculous to predict a nonsense match in a nonsense pay-per-view. So I'm going to abstain my predictions for this shit. Again, that's my opinion, and I can say that sucks. Okay, so next is Luchasaurus versus the Jungle Boy Jack Perry in a steel cage match. I think I can say Jack Perry definitely wins here kasi Christian Cage is still injured naman and wala pa yung end game on it. Kaya parang i-build pa nila ulit to kahit medyo naglaylo na yung build up nila. So I can say na Jack Perry definitely deserves the win over here. And I cannot wait for more matches between Jack Perry and Christian Cage in the near future. Let's continue with the feud between Britt Baker and Saraya. I can say that Saraya is definitely winning here. Wala tayong magagawa dyan. It's just a formality matchup. So, definitely a Saraya win over here. Welcome back to the ring. I hope lang na you're safe in, before, and after of the match. Let's continue with the title matches over here. First is the Wardlow defending the TNT title against Samoa Joe, ROH Television Champion, and Powerhouse Hobbs. I don't see the sense of it. So I hope lang na Hobbs will win the title match without pinning Joe. Or maybe Joe will get the pin. So eventually Wardlow and Joe can feud for the TNT title over the upcoming ROH event or maybe doon sa ROH title ni Joe. So, I'm gonna go over there with Powerhouse Subs. Then, Death Triangle versus the Elite for the Trios Tag Team titles. Man, this is very obvious. I no disrespect to the Triangle, but it's time to give the titles back to the original champions, the Elite. So, the Elite, I'm going to pick the Elite here on this match. Then next, it's a champion versus champion match. Jade Cargill versus Naira Rose, with Jade Cargill defending the TNT TBS Championship against the champion Nyla Rose. Again, open quote and quote champion Nyla Rose. Okay, this is a fun feud so far. Maraming maraming butas para i-verdict ito. But my predictions on this, it's very obvious. Nyla Rose is not a woman who will dethrone her, Jade Cargill, for the TBS title. So definitely it's a Jade Cargill win for me. Then, so the Acclaimed versus Webinar Glory match. It's gonna be the third match of their feud. And I want Webinar Glory to split up kasi hindi talaga sila bagay as a team. So, I'm gonna go with Acclaim. Then, mag-turn yung isa sa kanila, most likely Keith Lee. I want Keith Lee to become a heel, to be honest. And let's see in the next couple of weeks if they did that. It's gonna be good. Then, the ROH Championship is on the line in a four-way. Chris Jericho versus Brian Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, and Sammy Guevara. Sinasabi dito na if dalawa na lang si Jericho at si Sammy ang natira, Sammy Guevara will do the right thing. Do you think, guys, that Sammy Guevara will do the right thing? Let me know on the podcast platforms. Obviously not. Regardless, the predictions on this is gonna be go with Jericho para lang matapos na yung feud nila. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this shit. I hope Jericho wins. This is gonna be the first time for a while that I'm going to pick Jericho kasi it doesn't make sense anymore. Kung mananalo si BD, edi babalik din ng JS. Pag nanalo si Claudio, JS din. Kalokohan, di ba? Then, over here, we got a possible co-main event. Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter for the AEW Interim Women's Championship. Man, I'm going to say this over and over again. Drop the interim champion for fuck's sake. I don't like the interim shit anymore, man. Like, for fuck's sake, drop this shit. Tagal nang wala ni Thunder Rosa on the scene. Bakit di pa din tinatawag na interim champion si Tony Storm? It's kinda insulting. Shit. That's insulting shit for me, to be honest, to begin with. And now, they're still running on it. Parang dinidiin pa nila na Tony Storm is the interim world champion. And that's embarrassing. And that sucks for me. I'm not going to predict Jamie Heater, not because I don't like her. Pero the story kasi, they want a Thunder Rosa Tony Storm feud eventually. But that's my take. It's gonna be Tony Storm retaining the title. Doon tayo sa main event. John Moxley versus MJF. This is MJF's cash-in of the chip. Baka nakakalimutan nyo lang. MJF won the chip back and all out. So, it is what it is. MJF won the chip in a ladder match. And now, he is the number one contender for the world title. And it's obviously a MJF win here. Parang kinakarbon nila yung fate ng last year But yeah, it is what it is. I love Moxley. Don't get me wrong. But MJF definitely needs the title now just to save the dying promotion na ating minahal din. We love AEW here on the show. But this is too much now. It's time for redemption arc for AEW, and MJF leading the redemption arc maybe can help then for that. Um, and possible factors as well, di ba? William Regal can be a factor for that final decision about this match. Maybe mag-turn siya kay John Moxley, maybe mag-turn ang BBC or BCC kay John Moxley. They're going to attack him, and that's that can kick out Ambrose or Mox on the stable, and yeah, that's gonna be good. And that's my prediction for the Moxley MJF match. And I'm not going to say na MJF will join William Regal. Kasi MJF is great on his own. He doesn't need William Regal at all. Kaya I'm not going to say that here at least na William Regal needs MJF or MJF needs Regal. No. MJF can hold his own fucking balls. And yeah, yun, it is what it is. So that's it for my predictions. Again, let's plug some shit. Full Gear is airing this Sunday on pay-per-view. Again, the broadcasters are as follows. US is on BR, and some theaters in the United States, Canada, wala tayong ideya on them, to be honest. Sa India is on Eurosport, and Eurosport HD. The Philippines, it's on Premier Sports and on Tap Go TV. Yun lang, yun lang. Mag-air yun Sunday at 9 a.m., 8 a.m. yung buy-in o kaya yung 0 hour. Let me know your predictions for Full Gear on our social media platforms at the MTG Show Pod. Before we end, let's address some stuff here. So this is going to be the last one that we're going to call this stuff or some portions of it of this picks of the week. Next week, it's gonna be different now. So starting the picks for this upcoming week, we're going to kinda rephrase some stuff here for equality na rin siguro, I guess. But we're going to do the same format, but we're just jointing the superstar of the week and the woman of the week. So kumbaga, magjo-joint na lang siya in one name, but it's still the same purpose. Pero on the Bash Awards, we're going to still call it the Woman of the Year. On the final episode of the year, parang it's just para lang mapag-decide natin na women and men are equally dito sa Pilipinas and on the world. So we are starting that equality thing on this portion of the show. So our superstar and woman of the week is now merged as wrestler of the week, but we're going to still pick two superstar, one for men, one for women for that segment. And of course, the match of the week. Okay? So my superstar of the week, I'm going to say this for the last time. It's Austin Theory. The woman of the week is Saraya because that Saraya promo last week was fire. Then the match of the week is the Usos versus the New Day for the undisputed titles over on SmackDown. So that's pretty much it for our episode number 136. In case you missed my Disney Plus podcast from yesterday, you can check that out on our Spotify profile or the rest of the podcast platforms. You can follow us on all of the socials and that platform as well. Ayun, so in case you missed the podcast nga pala yung yesterday, that's available on all of the social media platforms. And of course, that podcast is available. I'm going to upload this, I think, on YouTube. So that's possible as a podcast then. Siguro pag-iisipan ko. But yeah, that's my podcast. I'm going to upload that. I need to upload that on YouTube probably tomorrow. I-upload ko siya on YouTube. Yeah. So, speaking of, follow us on all of the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, kung buhay pa yon, sana buhay pa, Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok. And of course on YouTube at the MTG Show Pod. Don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/the MTG Show Pod. You can donate and support the podcast on Gank as low as $1 a month. And of course, may GCash access din yon, kaya you can donate to me via GCash as well. For more podcasts, visit thebunkph.com. You can support us as a collective on all of the social media platforms. All of the social media platforms at the Bunk PH. The MTA Show Podcast is a Bunk Collective podcast, so you can join us on our discussions on our Discord server for Bunk. dsc.gg/Bunk Collective. This podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and the rest of the podcast platforms and on the podcast app. And don't forget to rate the podcast 5 stars, 6 in Tokyo Dome. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram on my personal accounts. I hope na on this recording buhay pa Twitter at AG Penera, and of course all of the links of the podcast is on linktr.ee/the MTG Show Podcast. Also, please support our local wrestling scene, especially MWF. They released a recent episode for MWF Action Novela TV, and please support them on MWF on Gank, ManilaWrestling.com, or their ganknow.com/Manila Wrestling Fed. With the main event as well, available na rin yung tickets for Noche Buena featuring Fabio Makisig versus Jake De Leon for the MWF Championship in a Manila Rules match. Also, FPW, wala na ang lahat, wag lang ang wrestling. This Sunday on Power Mac and Makari with the main event, Mike Madrigal versus Chino Ginto for the main event of Mawala na ang lahat, wag lang wrestling event. The ticket is still available on Ticket to Me on their platforms as well. That's pretty much it for this week's second episode of the week. Next week, it's gonna be double header ulit, because next week I'm gonna join with a special guest on the audio only episode when we're going to talk about Stardom. Ayun, pag-usapan natin yung nangyari sa Stardom. And so, medyo interested ako sa mga last woman standing matches recently. Pag-uusapan natin yon with my special guest. I-discuss na lang namin yon soon once we release the teasers for the upcoming episode here on the podcast. So, and also next week, we're going to do another episode about Full Gear review and, of course, our predictions for Survivor Series War Games. But for then, in behalf of DJ, in behalf of DJ Yuki of the Kingdom Podcast, my PDM of this podcast in cooperation with Punk Collective, this is the MPA Show Podcast, episode 136. We're out. See you on the next episode of the podcast. We're out.